So you want to buy a salvage yard. In this video, I'll break down every single thing you need to know about the salvage yard. Should you buy one, where to buy one, how it works, and maybe most importantly, how much money you can actually make with it. Let's go. First things first, location. Once you head into Maze Bank foreclosures, you'll notice that there's 5 different salvage yards you can buy. 1 in Paleto Bay, 1 in Sandy Shores, and 3 in Los Santos. Most of the missions take place in the city, so you're only going to want to buy one of these 3. So we have Marietta Heights, Strawberry, and La Puerta. Now this is the most expensive one at just under $2.7 million, and this one, even though it's the most expensive, you would think it's the best, do not buy it. There's a couple reasons for this. The very first one is a gang attack can actually spawn right outside this salvage yard. And when you're in a gang attack, you can't actually go inside your property. This happened to me the very first time that I tried to go in my business. The other reason is the vehicle spawns are really buggy at this location. A lot of the time, your vehicle will just spawn on the complete other side of this massive wall, and honestly, it's not worth the hassle. So for that reason, I would recommend getting Strawberry or Marietta Heights. Across all of my accounts, I have a salvage yard at all 3 locations. My personal favorite is Marietta Heights. Let's talk about the upgrades. Okay, so first is tint. This is completely cosmetic. It's just going to change the color of the inside of your salvage yard. The next one is get trade rates. We haven't seen this one before. This is a new upgrade. If you buy this for $450,000, you'll get a discount when you call Moore's Mutual to claim a vehicle that's been destroyed, and a discount when you repair a vehicle at LS Customs. I tested this out. It's a 50% discount. So for example, if your Oppressor Mark II gets destroyed, you'll only have to pay $5,000 instead of $10,000, which means to make your money back on this, your Oppressor Mark II would have to get destroyed 90 times. Definitely not necessary, but if you're really rich, sure, maybe buy it. Next is the tow truck. This is something that you're definitely gonna want to buy. As I'll explain later, the tow truck is a massive part of this business. Now, you can either buy the tow truck for $1.1 million or the tow truck beater for $650,000. They're the exact same. The only difference is the tow truck beater is rusty, but they do the exact same thing, so if you don't have much money, just buy the cheaper one, that's fine. Next is the wall safe. This costs $750,000, and I've seen a lot of misinformation about this one. This is not something you need to buy. Even if you don't buy this, you will still have a safe in your salvage yard, okay? A lot of people get that confused. If you don't buy this upgrade, the max capacity of your safe will be $100,000. If you buy the safe upgrade, the capacity just increases to $250,000. But the amount of money you can make with the safe stays the same, so it's not necessary at all. But anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later. And finally is the staff upgrade. This costs $625,000, and for making money, I would definitely recommend this one as well. Again, we'll talk about this one later, but it will double the speed that your staff can salvage vehicles. Okay, let's talk about what to do and how to make money. So there's 3 ways you can make money with this business. The first is through vehicle robberies. That's probably going to be the main way you make money. The second one is through the tow truck missions and salvaging the vehicles that you bring back with the tow truck. And the third way is through the safe in your office. So let's start off with the vehicle robberies. Vehicle robberies are basically a heist. Technically, they're not called heists, but they're pretty much a vehicle heist. So to start these up, head over to the computer in your salvage yard, and you'll see that there's 3 different vehicles that you can steal. You'll of course have one that doesn't pay as much, one that pays in the middle, and then one that will pay you a lot. The payouts from these ones range from about $250,000 all the way up to $400,000, and these will rotate each week. So in the coming weeks, we may get some vehicles that are worth the low 200,000s. We may get some that are worth well over 400,000. It's just going to change week to week. Now, I'll get to explaining the actual robberies in a second, but what you need to know is these can only be done once per week. You can only do 3 a week. So that's right, it's not going to reset straight away. You can't just do it again after you finish it. You can only do each of these once per week. And yes, that is a real life week. They're going to reset every Thursday when the GTA Online weekly update comes out. Okay, let's get into the actual robbery. Setting up a robbery will cost you $20,000, and the first thing you'll have to do is a scope out mission, just like you would with a heist. This won't be difficult at all. All you have to do is just go to a certain location, take some photos, send them to Jamal Amir, and you're done. Next, you'll have to do some planning work as well as some tasks. Normally, you'll have 2 mandatory tasks and then 1 optional task. The mandatory ones are very straightforward. They're just things that you need for the heist. I'm not going to hold your hand and walk you through these setups. They're pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you're a pretty good player, so go ahead and do that planning work. And then you have one optional planning work. This is something that will just make the finale a bit easier. It'll normally be something like with the gangbanger robbery, for example. There will be less police in the police station. For the Duggan robbery, it means the guards will have less armor, that sort of thing. Something that's not compulsory, but might make it a bit easier. Honestly, really not worth it for an experienced player at all. The finales are not difficult, so you should be fine. And then we have tasks. Normally you'll have 2 or 3 of these, plus an optional one, which will be getting masks. This will just drop 1 star off your wanted level in the finale. Again, really not necessary. And for the tasks, you actually have to do these in free mode. So you'll fly around or drive around the map and you'll see these green duffel bags on your map. So just head over there and start up the tasks. Again, they're very, very simple. This will be very straightforward. Once that's done, you're on to the finale, the actual robbery. These are pretty cool missions, but again, honestly, you don't need me to walk you through this. You know how to complete missions at this point. The only thing I would say though is you actually can use personal vehicles in the finales. So for example, if you need to get away from the cops, remember you can call in something like a Sparrow helicopter, and that'll make your getaway a lot easier. I didn't realize this the first time through, so just letting you know. Also, in the finale, there'll be 3 challenges that are optional. Completing each of these challenges will get you $10,000, and if you complete all 3, you'll get an extra $20,000. So you could make up to $50,000 extra, which does definitely add up. Okay, so you've got the car, you've stolen it, and it's back in your salvage yard. For most players, once you've done these a few times, I would assume you can probably get these done in about 30 to 40 minutes. So we're on track to actually make some pretty decent money here. Now you have 2 options. You can either sell the car to Yusuf Amir, or you can salvage it in your own salvage yard. Trust me when I say you should never ever salvage it. Always sell it to Yusuf Amir. This is for multiple reasons. The first one is if you salvage it yourself, you're only going to get 80% of the value. And the other reason is by salvaging it, you're actually using one of your own salvage bays, so you can't salvage another vehicle. Anyway, we'll talk about how the salvage bays work in just a second. But for now, all you need to know is always just sell it for the maximum profit to Yusuf Amir. And again, this is very straightforward. All you'll have to do is drive the vehicle down to the docks. For anyone who has a cargo bob, yes, you can use a cargo bob to fly it down there if you're nervous about damaging it, and then you get paid. So you probably made $250,000 to $400,000 depending on the vehicle that you stole in about 45 minutes-ish. It'll probably take you a bit longer your first few times through, but as you get better, in about 40 to 45 minutes. So not incredible money, but also not horrible. Now, when you do sell to Yusuf Amir, you've probably got a couple questions. The first one might be, will I get a high demand bonus if I sell this in a public session? The answer to that is no. There's no benefit to selling these in a public lobby, so you may as well do it in an invite-only session, and you can actually sell multiple vehicles at once, so if you have a friend that's helping you out, you can complete 2 of these sell missions at once. Next, let's talk about the tow truck and salvaging vehicles. If you buy the tow truck, of course, there will be a tow truck in your salvage yard. If you hop in the driver's seat, you can go out and start tow truck missions. This is exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna go out, steal a vehicle with your tow truck, tow it back to your salvage yard. Pretty straightforward. What's not so straightforward though is getting paid for it. So you're not actually gonna get paid instantly. Instead, your staff in your salvage yard will have to, well, salvage the vehicle for parts, take it apart, and then you'll get paid. How long this takes though depends on whether you have the staff upgrade or not. If you don't have the staff upgrade, this is going to take 2 in-game days or 96 minutes. If you do have the staff upgrade, it's only going to take 1 in-game day or 48 minutes. So obviously very, very useful. How much will you get paid for these? Normally somewhere between $40,000 to $60,000. Your staff can take apart 2 vehicles at once as well. So for maybe a 3 to 5 minute tow truck mission, you can make $40,000 to $60,000. Honestly, that is pretty good. But that's not all, because we have to talk about the safe, and the safe is actually linked to the tow truck. If you have a nightclub, think about the safe the same way you would think about the nightclub popularity bar. The more tow truck missions you do, the more money you're going to get each time the safe fills up. So your safe will fill up every in-game day. So every 48 minutes, the safe will tick up and add more money. So let's say, for example, every 48 minutes, every in-game day, you do 2 tow truck missions. Your staff will start taking those vehicles apart, plus save, that means just doing 2 tow truck missions every 48 minutes could get you up to $150,000. Now, is that as good as something like Cayo Perico? No, obviously not, but the tow trucks combined with doing the vehicle robberies 3 times a week could definitely put the salvage yard on par with something like the auto shop, maybe even a bit above the auto shop. Just another little tip I'll give you, whether it's any of the setup missions or even the tow truck missions, in most of these missions, when you get the cops on you, you won't actually be able to call Lester or anything like that, but if you want to get the cops off you quickly, just blow yourself up and the cops should be gone. And finally, the last thing I should mention about this business, because I know a lot of us actually do care about this, snacks are available in the office, so don't forget to refill your snacks anytime you're here. And there you have it. That's the auto shop. Honestly, this is actually one of my favorite businesses in the game. I think the robberies are really fun. I know only being able to do them once a week sucks, I agree, but as for the actual content itself and what you can do with the business, I like it. So we'll wrap the video up there. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop.